Butterflies and Ladybugs by Mr. Lugo. I once bought my niece a kite. I thought about it as I wandered through the park one humid afternoon, a place where life and death can be found in the grass, and the lost and found gather to discreetly mock one another. The kite was a belated birthday gift that I picked up in the sale bin at a local hobby shop. I was hopeful that whatever gift I selected I could buy her love, even if for one more day. I was too hungover to think otherwise. We would often spend our weekend mornings in a park very similar to this one, surrounded by children who loved and then hated their parents in a matter of moments, over a passing ice cream truck that wasn't open for business yet, or a pinch on the back of the arm for yelling in public. There were picnics among replaceable friends, prancing about high on mushrooms, snobbishly believing they were in tune with the spiritual side that the rest of us were missing. The blue of the sky, the green of the trees, the bright colors that painted the flowers that cured so many of my ills. I sat on a bench and stared at the folks who wasted so much time searching, nameless, scribbling away in their journals full of poems about the world they wanted so much to be a part of, coming up with a handful of sentences to attempt to creatively explain the life taking place around them, but never spending the time to experience it for themselves. I leaned my head back to see what was happening above me, watching as the heavens did their best to console us all, and then I heard a scream, more like a child moaning in agony, and watched as 3 balloons paraded directly above me. I could have reached for them, but I was too bitter to save this child's world. My niece's kite was bright yellow, barely held together by cheap Chinese materials. She loved that kite as though it depended on her to survive. She cared for it, cleaning it after each flight, and then eventually named it Sabrina. I was responsible for helping Sabrina lift off into space. That was me, an out-of-shape 30-year-old running through a crowded park, hopping over legs and blankets, sweat dripping down the back of my head and side of my face, gasping for air while my niece let out yelps of glee and encouragement. And then after several attempts, Sabrina usually took flight. My niece would hug me as I guided Sabrina and watched as it lifted higher and higher into the winds, drifting, soaring among the birds who were brave enough to fly. Oftentimes I thought of a point in her life when she would no longer want to spend this time with me, or talk to me, or hug me. My voice would blend in with everyone else's. She wouldn't recognize my face as we passed each other in the streets. I imagined saying hello and watching as she stared back blankly. I was preparing for a broken heart caused by a child that didn't know any better. And so one day when my insecurities got the best of me, I let Sabrina go, slowly, purposefully, letting the piece of string that controlled its destiny slip through my cigarette-stained fingers, watching as it climbed into the sky, passing the clouds, disguising the souls of the lost, hoping they would help make Sabrina disappear. It was a misstep, a lack of judgment that's led to this vivid recollection. My niece's eyes welled with tears, her voice trembled, her uncontrollable sobbing shifted her around with spastic movements, until I told her I would buy her another kite, a better kite, with beautifully stitched butterflies and ladybugs, and no flaws or imperfections. A kite she would eventually love just as much. But I wasn't so sure she would ever feel the same way about me.